Well, now an Australian exclusive. Andrew Günsberg sat down with the one and only Playboy himself, Hugh Hefner, and what they discussed may surprise you.
You know the logo and what it stands for, and behind it all is flamboyant founder Hugh Hefner, who started the magazine Playboy nearly 60 years ago, which would become an empire. Famous for his bunnies and his parties, few know Hef as one of the social pioneers of the 20th century. He was the first to show blacks and whites sing together on television, a campaigner for freedom from censorship, abortion rights and for human rights. Promoting a new documentary about his rise to fame, I spoke with Hef to talk about all things Playboy.
I started the magazine in 1953, and in that period, post-war period after World War II, it was a very conservative time. When the skirt lengths went down instead of up, I knew we were in big trouble. Men's magazines after World War II were mostly outdoor adventure books, and I was not interested in hunting and fishing. I was interested in hanging out in a penthouse apartment and getting a great set of wheels and whining and dining a lady of your choice, and that was the notion behind Playboy, and there are obviously a lot of other young people that had the same feeling.
And it was the first issue which carried a naked picture of Marilyn Monroe that launched the magazine and made history.
It literally changed the world. The social sexual values of the magazine, the liberating aspect of the magazine, reached young people across America and then across the world. And we do not live in the same world today, in no small part because of Playboy, and I take great pride in that.
He had the readers, but as time went on, Hef wanted Playboy to be more than a magazine.
In the 1960s, I introduced the other half of who I am, that's the social context. And in 1965, introduced the Playboy Foundation that became the activist arm. We literally supplied money to change the laws of the land.
What laws are we talking about here?
Before Playboy, everything but sexual intercourse in marriage was illegal. Any activity kind of homosexual activity was illegal. We got a woman out of prison serving time for manslaughter because she'd had an illegal abortion. A lot of people don't realize, particularly young people, have no idea what life was like back then.
It wasn't just sexual laws that Hef took on, but racial ones as well. Hef came out from behind the desk and hosted a TV show called Playboy's Penthouse and did what no one else had done.
It was actually a variety show with singing, dancing, and jokes and humor, etc. It was very much like a party at the mansion. And like the mansion, there was no racial barrier. So black and white mixed socially. That was unthinkable back in the late 50s, and illegal in the South, so that the show was a syndicated show and was not distributed in the South. The first club was in Chicago. We franchised a couple of clubs in New Orleans and Florida, but in the South, discrimination still existed, and the owners of the clubs refused admittance to some of our members that were black, and I said, you can't do that. And we literally bought the franchise clubs back at a loss to open them up to all of our members.
A lot has changed since then, including the birth of the internet, with its content rivaling the magazine industry.
I am against censorship and repression, but I do think that, quite frankly, we have lost something. I was raised in a more romantic time, and I do feel sorry for young people when they don't have that sense of magic, because there's a good deal more to relationships than just girls having their ankles above their heads. Although that's a pretty good position.
Which brings me to the Playboy Mansion, where I was lucky enough to score an invite.
This house is known for its huge parties. Sometimes when I have a house party, people call me the next day and say, did you find my shirt down by the back fence? Like, what are the debriefs like the next day over breakfast?
Sometimes they call up and say that not only that they lost their shirt, they want to know where their girlfriend is.
Say this, but you could learn something from Hugh Hefner there. Oh, romance. Don't forget the romance.
Been studying his work for a long time. So.
Well, but it actually was surprising, though. I mean, people could see that, OK, campaigning for sexual liberation, maybe not so much of a surprise, but racial equality, not many people prepared to do that in the 1950s, and he really went out on a limb.
And people forget that the articles in Playboy have been fantastic for a number of years.
That's not a joke, they have been, seriously.
Yeah. If you want to see more of the incredible footage, the documentary Hugh Hefner, Playboy activist and rebel is out now. And for more of Andrew's interviews, catch the Hot Hits live from LA each Sunday arvo from 2 p.m. across the Australian network.
We're going to take a break, but we'll be back with the mighty Kitty Flanagan. Don't miss it.